Hey, Rohit, how's it going, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
Doing good, dude. How's your day going?
Not too bad so far. Just doing some media. Always love talking to people. Love talking about wrestling and all that good stuff. Yourself?
Yeah, doing great, dude. It's been a nice Friday so far, but we're coming off the news yesterday. Impact moving to Thursdays on Access TV starting April 8th. Obviously, you're going to be a big part of it. You've been a big part of Impact over the last year. How have you seen the last year fly by for you? For some people, it's kind of dragged. For some people, it's been like a blink. But with all the, great work that you've been doing lately, how much has it flown by for you?
It flew by pretty quickly because I was having fun as far as wrestling goes. But,
Mm-hmm.
I try to savor every second of that X Division title run because at that time I was like, I never know when this is going to happen again.
Yeah.
From where I was in the company to all of a sudden where I was thrust into. But I honestly tried to make every little second count with my run. I felt like I had a really good run. You guys always treat me well and talk me up, which I do appreciate. But no, man, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Real life was a kick in the ribs, but professional wrestling, as far as Impact goes, it was probably the most fun I've ever had in my career,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And I think a lot of people forget too that you've been with Impact for a while now, like dating back to 2017. It's been about 4 years now that you've been with the company. In the last year, you've really broken out, obviously, and it was single star X Division champion, as you said. How was the last year compared to the first 3 years? Like, did the first 3 years kind of drag a little bit? Was it normal? And then the last year sped by so quickly? Because, again, you're having fun, and when you're having fun, it kind of goes by quicker.
Yeah, it was night and day. I mean, the first year or two, I kind of knew what I was getting into. I knew I was gonna. I didn't come in with any hype, no
Mm-hmm.
fanfare. Well, I'm not an indie darling or anything of that nature. Virtually an unknown. So I'm trying to get my feet wet, trying to get comfortable in the company, working with people that have been all over the world, that are way more talented than me, and then trying to get used to that and really not wrestling to my full potential.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to get comfortable, and then you realize, man, I don't think I'm going anywhere.
Yep.
I think I might be in this spot for the rest of my life. And then the frustration kicks in. And then you're just like, well, I know my worth. I know I'm better than what they're doing with me. How do I show them that? And honestly, I just try to keep my head down, not whine, not complain, not be a sore spot on the roster, and continue to prove my worth. And when I got the opportunity, I was comfortable and I was ready. That I think that's one of the reasons why my run was so successful,
Mm-hmm.
due to the fact that I was ready to have a microphone. When they said, "Hey, go out there and do the defeat Rohit challenge," this is what you want. We want you to say.
Yeah.
But then it turned into, "Hey, go out there and just do the defeat Rohit challenge and say what you want." I knew I was doing something good because they had the faith and confidence in me, in my work to go do what to go do me. And I've been waiting to be put in that situation because I knew once I was in that situation and they gave me the ball, I was going to run with it and score touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And that's what
Yeah.
I felt like I did.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, no. I was just gonna say, kind of going off what you said, how much input you kind of mentioned it right there, but how much input did you have with like the defeat Rohit challenge, as you mentioned, taking that, really running with it, defending the championship almost every week on the show? After they kind of gave you the initial, I don't know if guidelines is the right word, but they kind of gave you the foundation. You took it and made more with it than you were probably even asked of, which is awesome. From there, was there any input that you specifically had with? I mean, aside from like the promos and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was always stuff that I would start to think of and touch. I can't think of anything in particular, but I would always go to creative and say, "Hey, doesn't this make more sense?" Or "Can we try this?" Or
Mm-hmm.
whoever I was working with, like TJ would have an idea, and then we would go from there, and we would all work together. But the fact was, one of the things I cut, like I guess, and I'm not trying to put myself over, but I cut a good promo because it's me cutting it.
Yeah.
They'll give me bullet points from time to time and they say, "Hey, can you mention this?" And then they'll literally say, they'll stand back and say, "I don't want to tell you your verbiage because
Mm-hmm.
I know you'll do what you want. You'll do whatever." And if I do say something they don't want me to say, they're like, "Oh, can we not say that?" or whatever. But they give me that freedom. And
Mm-hmm.
when you give me that freedom just to go out there and talk or go out there and work, I'm going to do my best
Yeah.
because I'm comfortable. And I really felt like that. And when they would listen to me with ideas with either just my run or the defeat the Rohit challenge, it was great. And not to I'll use this as an example. They didn't tell me to dress in the 97, 98 ugly rock shirts. I did that.
Yeah.
Everybody else was doing it at the time. I figured I got to be a champion. I went from zero to hero, and I have to show that getting the belt already went to my head. So what can I do? I was like, 98 Rock, 98 Dwayne, 99 Dwayne. Nobody, because a lot of fans nowadays don't even know what that is. So I started wearing these shirts, and I remember D'Lo said, man, that shirt is so loud I can hear it roar. I was like, that's exactly what I want. I want that. And then I started saying, referring to myself as the mocha skin manimal, stuff like that. And really, they just let me go with it. And that honestly felt tremendous because it showed that, okay, they're not stopping me. They're letting me go. They're letting me have fun. When I had the belt and I would post the pics on social media, that started to get over. And that was me. That was all me. Mm-hmm. They let me do that. And I think, that helped a lot. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and we've seen a totally different side to you during this entire X Division title run and beyond, which has been cool. A complete 180 from what you were doing prior to that point. You mentioned with like the attire and what you were wearing and stuff like that, which is always cool to hear. Did you have these ideas dating back to like the Desi Hit Squad days of like, okay, at some point, if I ever break out on my own, this is something I would like to do? Or in that moment, are you kind of just more so thinking, all right, I'm just going to make the most of this tag team opportunity or whatever's kind of put in front of me?
I'm always trying to make the most of what's put in front of me. Mm-hmm. But in the back of my head, I'm always thinking about the future. Like even right now, how do I evolve? What's next for Rohit? It's less comedy, still being entertaining, but I got to be serious at times too. And kind of dig into that Hakeem Zayn persona that I do on the Indies, which is more of a chip on the shoulder, angry, bitter individual, where Rohit is more loving life or just sometimes clueless on things, but can be a real vindictive piece of trash. But yeah, I always try to pay attention to what is in front of me and make the best of it. But like I said, in the same sense, I'm also always thinking about the future. And in the world of professional wrestling, you have to constantly stay a step ahead and be evolving and not be stale. So that's exactly what I try to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned your indie work too, and obviously you've been doing that for a long time. And in Impact, it was only really in the last year that you were doing the singles stuff and whatever. And obviously, I guess being an indie wrestler and doing other stuff outside of Impact, you were already kind of used to it. But in Impact, was there like an adjustment period for you going from being in a tag team for such a long time in the faction with Desi Hit Squad to then being a single star all by yourself? I mean, you were with Shira for a little bit there for a couple of weeks recently, but beyond that, you were totally on your own. Was there an adjustment period there, or was it just a total immediate effect where like, okay, I'm on my own and I can swim on my own?
The adjustment period was being in a tag team with someone you didn't know.
Wow, okay.
That was the thing. It was hard. Like when Gersinder and I teamed up, and congratulations to him. He's doing big things right now. I'm so proud of that guy. Mm-hmm. But when we teamed up, we just knew each other from talking to each other, and we were just friends from training at the Can-Am Dojo. But then we got forced into a tag team, and we're trying to learn each other's cadence, our style, the way we just work in the ring. And then we're going against teams like LAX, who have been wrestling for years together, or we're going against seasoned vets like DJZ and Andrew Everett, and we're just trying to, we're thrust upon this. Same thing with Raj and I. Raj and I didn't know each other from anything. Mm-hmm. And so it took us a while before we got used to the way each other moved and flowed. Same thing with Shira and I. That was a transition point. As soon as I got to be a singles wrestler again, that was nothing. It was like, okay, cool, we're back to doing this. Because I was still doing that on the indies. Yeah. So it was no big deal. The hard part was being in a tag team with someone that you didn't know and someone that you didn't gel with, not personally, but just ring-wise. Because we didn't gel. I didn't gel personal or ring-wise with these guys right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So we have to figure out how do we make things work, but also look good compared to all these other tag teams that have been teaming up for a long time.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think especially with the Desi Hit Squad stuff, you were doing that for so long in Impact. For those that weren't familiar with your independent work, with everything you've done outside of Impact prior to recently, they just kind of see you as a tag team guy before you become X Division champion. And it's like, okay, I can't take this guy seriously until you start doing the great work that you did. Is having those doubters and naysayers early on only fueling you more to prove those people wrong and to show, listen, I can be a single star and I can be successful on my own?
Oh, hell yeah, man. And there's so many people, even now, it's like people always say, well, this guy sucks, or this sucks, or why is he this? I love to prove those people wrong. I love to make them eat their words. It was just like when I was first starting to train as a professional wrestler, working nonstop, and people saying, it's not going to happen. What are you doing? It's funny. As soon as I got signed to Impact, so many people came out of the woodwork, oh, man, you're this. As soon as I got that X Division title, all of a sudden people are proud of you. People are wanting to jump on the bandwagon and act like, you know, they supported you from day one. I had like maybe 3 or 4, 5 supporters that supported me and believed in me. And it's cool. You know, I'm glad people are proud of me, but proving people wrong is something I enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I've always been an underdog my entire life. So proving people wrong, especially in wrestling, I'm not a big guy. You see these guys that are big and they instantly have what you would call the it factor, and people gravitate towards them and they instantly put them on a pedestal. Wrestlers, fans, they don't think, you know, some people get it. I have like a nice little cult following. Mm-hmm. But the majority of people, they don't either just don't pay attention or they don't care or they don't think I'm going to do anything. So being able to either open their eyes or shut these people up, I love it.
And kind of on the subject of your supporters on the other end of the spectrum, has there been anyone, even dating back to before your recent singles success, that's been a big supporter of you that, you know, a recognizable name, whether it be someone in Impact beyond, you know, behind the scenes or on camera or someone outside of Impact that's reached out to you and said, listen, dude, you're doing great work. Just keep on doing your thing?
You know, you got friends. Mm-hmm. There's always been a few friends that, close friends of mine that have supported me, which is fantastic. There's guys that I do like this show with them. It's called Banter and Babble. They do. They've always supported me. My buddy Tone, of course, my good friends in wrestling have always supported me. Jake something, numero uno right there. Carm, my boy X, Ren. These guys are Michigan guys, but they've helped me. But there's been a lot of veterans too that have honestly said, hey, you're doing good things. You just have to bide your time. D'Lo was one of them. Ross Foreman, he was one of them. And because I would get frustrated, man. I would get frustrated and be like, I don't think they're ever going to do anything with me here. Yeah. And you don't try to show that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be a whiner. You don't want to be a sore spot on the roster. You want to keep going and keep pushing. But I would confide in people, and they would say, just keep doing what you're doing. The cream always rises to the top. And yeah. As soon as I got my opportunity, I felt like I rose to the top. So yeah. It's the feeling of success after working so hard. I can't explain it. Man, it feels so great.
Yeah, no, for sure. Would you bestow that same advice on people, whether it be in Impact or elsewhere, that might find themselves in a similar spot that you did a year or two ago, that were struggling, thinking, hey, my opportunity's never going to come? Would you say the same thing to them, like, listen, just be patient, and if you shine through, then it's bound to come eventually?
Yeah, you honestly have to keep working hard. You can't, and the negativity, it can swallow you whole sometimes. Yeah. Trust me, I've been there. It can defeat your mind if you let it, but you honestly have to keep working hard and pushing through, because if where you're at doesn't see it, somebody else will. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You'll shine either way as long as you keep pushing through. Whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's something, you're going to shine either way. You just have to be true to yourself. And number one, though, you have to, you know, be able to correct what you're doing wrong and evolve and continue to be a better person, a better performer, a better worker, a better whatever it is that you're doing. But you'll do it. You're gonna suffer a bunch of setbacks. But if you keep doing something, you know, you're doing something right, somebody's going to see it eventually, and it may take some time, but it's also going to take a lot of time, hustle, and grind on your part as well, and a lot of falling down and then picking yourself back up, especially if no one is around you to pick you up. So It sucks sometimes, but man, when you get the payoff is worth it.
Oh, absolutely. It's always worth it. So that's cool to hear. Final few questions for you, Rohit. You mentioned working with TJP a little bit earlier on. The match that you guys had at the most recent special, or it might have been the one before that, was fantastic. It was a great X Division title match. I would put that up with one of your best matches in the last year in Impact, along with all the other ones that you've had. Do you have a favorite match? I mean, it could be including the Desi Hit Squad days as well, that you've had so far in Impact, a favorite opponent that you've enjoyed working with?
That was one of them. Working with TJ, and I've said this recently, the dude has really been a mentor backstage to me. Mm-hmm. He's honestly helped me find my confidence. He's honestly helped me grow into a better performer than I was a year ago, because he's that guy. I mean, people don't realize how great he really is. The guy's been working 22 years. He's been everywhere. He knows how everything works. And when you're in the ring with someone like him, and because I've been in the ring with guys that don't want to give you the time of day, that are absolute jerks, and you just want to punch them right in the face. Like, there's been guys in Impact when I first got there that I just, dude, if it wasn't for Impact, I'd probably punch you right in the teeth. But then there's guys like TJ who are true professionals, and that really elevated me. Mm-hmm. And that last match might be one of my favorites, because I had a ton of input in that match, and that was something that we created together. And it wasn't just me listening to the vet; it was me being on his level for that match. You know what I mean? As far as maybe not experience-wise, but complete package-wise, I think it was. And that was one of my favorite matches. So being able to work with him has elevated me, and he gave me one of the best compliments I had when we had to do serious promos in the ring, where he threw the T on me. Mm-hmm. He goes, you made me step my game up. He goes, I knew I had to come with it, because I know your promos are fire, and I had to step my game up. So that made me feel like $1 million. Like, man, he recognizes my worth and my talent, and I made him, come up to my level in that aspect. So that's great, because he's done nothing but make me go up to his level. Mm-hmm. So that would probably be my favorite match to date. I've had a lot of fun matches at Impact, a lot of great ones as far as I like and I'm concerned. But that one right there, I think, even though I lost it, it's still probably one of my favorite matches, just because of the story we told and everything we did in between, and especially the feedback that it got from people. It made me feel really good.
Yeah, definitely. I would include the triple threat with you, TJP, and Chris Bay, too. Back from, I think it was Hard to Kill in January. That was a terrific triple threat as well.
And I heard them, have yet to watch that, and I remember Chris watched it, and the next day he told me, he was like, dude, that match, we really put in some work. And I remember seeing and it made me feel good, because that was the first time Omega was on the card.
Yeah.
And we were like, we are going to steal the show. We're not letting these guys get match of the night. And I felt like we had match of the night just by the feeling of the match. So when I was seeing, again, the reviews, and I try not to pay attention to that stuff,
sure.
But, some people can be really toxic with it. But when Chris was like, dude, we really put in some work, and I still have to watch it, man, what a feeling that is, knowing that all the focus was on the main event, but we stole it. And we wanted to steal it from those guys so bad, and I felt like we did, so that's awesome.
Well, I'm here to tell you, dude, I'm unbiased. You guys did steal the show. So if it's worth anything, you guys definitely did steal the show back at Hard to Kill. Final question for you. Kind of alluded to it earlier, but you've already won the X Division Championship. You're always looking at what's next for you. Do you have any major goal? I mean, obviously winning the Impact Championship itself would be nice. Opponents you still want to face, stuff like that, kind of looking forward to the future.
I want to go in the ring with Rich Swann. I think Rich Swann is so good. Mm-hmm. He's so tremendous. He's tremendously talented. People, they're talking about Kenny. Kenny's great. We all know how great Kenny is. Awesome, phenomenal, one of the best wrestlers in the world today. Rich Swann goes in there, and whatever he does, he makes it look effortless. Mm-hmm. Swann can go with anybody. People are going to find that out on the 25th when he gets in the ring with him. So I really want to work with Swann. I really want to do something long with Jake something, as Jake something, just because we have such a long history that it goes way beyond pro wrestling. So us being able to do something would be great. Definitely would like to do something one-on-one with Chris Bay. There's a lot of potential there. Mm-hmm. Ace Austin is another guy I would love to kind of do something with. Eric Young. I think Eric Young is really, really right up my alley. So doing something with him would be great as well. But honestly, I want to continue to evolve. I want to be a top guy at Impact, and I want to be a world champion someday.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Steve Austin said, if you get in this business, and you don't want to be a world champion, then why the hell are you in this business? So, yeah, I definitely want to be a world champion in Impact Wrestling.
Absolutely. I think it's safe to say you've only scratched the surface, dude. So it's been cool to see you do some great work over the last year in Impact. Obviously, the show's moving to Thursdays, April 8th on Access TV, which is going to be very exciting to be looking forward to. So, Rohit, thanks so much for the time, man. I appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
Thanks. Take it easy.